Omówiono najważniejsze sprawy związane z dalszym rozwojem województwa i kraju.
Hey everybody, welcome to LIVESCIFI.tv, and
Hello.
tonight I am once again joined with Kristen, and tonight we just wrapped up our water ITC session, and we thought it might be a good idea to do a live Q&A session, so I thank all of you guys for tuning in. In the description of this video, we have a link that goes to our site where we had asked people before the show to post up questions so we could answer them for you guys. So, thought it would be fun to do this tonight just for a little bit and answer some of your guys' questions that you guys have about the show, about the paranormal, life, the afterlife, so on and so on. So, gonna get some shout outs really quickly to everyone watching. First off, we're gonna hit up the LIVESCIFI.tv chat on our website. Shout outs to Jen Treasure Trove, It's Lizzie High, Ruby, Alan, Chaz, Fire Angel, NASCAR, Sherry, Angel Eyes, Nancy Villa. Shout outs to Ivan, Daniela, Itu, Kozman, Little Gamer, Annette, Alex Santana, Steven, The Irish Ghost, Moses, Fat Lard. Never mind, I don't like what you just said in chat.
Retract.
Yeah, retract that shout out. Melkor, Harvey, Bronny, Destin, Top 5. What's up, you guys? So, I thought it'd be kind of cool. We have some questions that you guys posted up, so we're going to kind of run through these and hit them up as we go along. I want to thank everyone who posted the screen captures on the site. So far, they are looking absolutely amazing.
Can't wait to go through them.
Yeah. So the first question comes from Kayla. She asks, "Hey, Tim, I was wondering if there was some kind of ritual you guys do after the live streams." The only ritual that I do is the cleanup after the shows.
Cleanup of the show?
Yeah, cleanup after the show. And usually I fall right asleep because I am absolutely dead tired. A lot of something that's like very hard to convey is lots of times when we do, actually every show that we do, immediately after, you just are super drained. And I almost hate calling these shows because it implies that we're faking stuff. But I gotta make a note in my mind to refer to them as broadcasts because they really aren't shows.
Yeah, it really wipes you out. Just the energy that you're focusing during whatever it is you're doing, whether it's Ouija or going through a house or whatever, it wipes you out. So I don't really have, unless I feel like I've been in a really negative space with something that might follow me home, that's when I'll do some kind of protection things for myself, which one of the things is I just announce that nothing is allowed to follow me home to my car, my property, to attach to anything that I have with me. But that's pretty much it. I don't have anything that I do religiously each time. So, like Tim, I pass out.
Anyways, we'll go on to the next question here. The next question comes from Indies Unspoken. She asks, what are the signs of becoming possessed? For me, at least, I can only had a couple experiences where this has happened, but you kind of just don't realize you're in your space anymore. What I mean to that is it feels like you're almost watching yourself, which is kind of freaky. And you often, like perfect example after the Whispers Estate episode, when I watch that broadcast or when I have tried to watch it, it's almost like I'm watching a movie because I don't even remember half of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's very, it can be very confusing. Next question is from Monet B. And if you guys have any questions that you guys want us to ask or want us to answer, you can visit our forums.livescifi.tv. The next question is from Monet B, one of our moderators. She asked, what made you want to start ghost hunting? I'll let Kristen answer this one.
Well, I was born with the gift of sight, so ever since I can remember, I've been sensitive to the undead around me. So I feel like I never really sought out ghost hunting as much as I was kind of born with it. And then as I got older, I wanted to know more about why I saw the things I saw. And so for me, it was more learning about myself and why things happen the way they do, or why I see things the way I see things. And so that kind of led me into investigating. So, and it really was to validate that, I'm not nuts or crazy, that actually the things that I'm seeing really are there. So that's how I ended up next to him.
Yeah, for me, I just had a lot of experiences growing up, and I had a reoccurring visitor at my parents' house that really frightened me as a kid. And those experiences that I had growing up really kind of pushed me into trying to figure out if this is real or not. And also growing up in a household where my parents and my family members told me that the things that I was experiencing did not exist.
Same.
Made me want to kind of spurned the development creatively for doing these types of broadcasts. So I guess my main motive for doing these broadcasts is, to show people and let people experience, hope that they can experience the same things that I can, as if we're all like interactively here. So,
Right.
yeah. Next question, Sierra Secord asks, what is the most scariest investigation you have ever done? It's really hard to say, there's been a bunch of them, and a lot of the locations that I handpick are ones that are usually confined to small places, such as small homes. And the reason for that is I like to be able to, I don't like to run around and chase the activity. I want to be able to hear it. So lots of times when the locations that we pick, like the Sally House or some of the Whispers Estate, the homes are very small. So the chances of actually experiencing something and feeling something, if the home is haunted, is very high. It's not like going to an insane asylum where you're walking around endlessly looking at empty rooms. But probably one of the scariest investigations I ever went on was I think a house in Antioch that I did back in 2008. And I actually have some of the footage for that. It was shot in really low def because the cameras weren't good back then. But the guy who owned the house, he claimed that he was possessed by multiple demons, and he had an exorcism done, and a year after the exorcism, he was hit by a car. So that was probably one of the scariest.
Yeah.
Anytime you see somebody getting affected by the activity who's actually living at the home, it kind of takes it up to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
What about you, Kristen?
Mine is different because it's not. A lot of times I feel more like an observer than anything. So I would say I've had moments where I felt fear, as opposed to the whole place being scary to me. And I think the scariest or the most fear I have felt so far was the one time that we were at the Sally house and Tim had gone upstairs and saged, and the house did not appreciate it. The house had felt neutral and really good, and we'd kind of done an exorcism type style on the house, and everything felt really neutral. And so he decided to go up and sage, and everything just changed completely. And so he sent me upstairs to see how it felt for me, and I got to the bottom of those stairs and I was like, it was so pitch black, and it shouldn't have been that black because I'd been in the house with all the lights out and everything, and you know, your eyes adjust and you see stuff. That staircase was so black and like ink, it was like the light was sucked out, that I was having trouble going up the stairs because it felt like I was going to just be swallowed into the void. And so that moment, that night, was fearful for me, was scary for me. Other than that, I haven't really been scared of a place. I don't know why. I probably should be, but I haven't yet. So, hi Patches. Patches.
Like what? It's like, it's past my bedtime. Jesse Fletcher is going to ask the next question here on the forums. He says, "Hey Tim, I know I asked this before, but are you guys going to be going to the Palmer House Hotel in Minnesota? It's my home state." I've heard a bunch of things about the hotel. I'm not really that big on doing hotels. I just have never really been fond of them. I think
Just a lot.
Yeah.
Place to cover.
Yeah, it's a big place to cover, and lots of times there's other motives for the owners of the hotels claiming that they're haunted. So,
Right.
yeah, the Palmer House does have an interesting story. It has been featured on a couple of TV shows, but oftentimes, TV show, just because it's featured on TV,
Yeah, it doesn't mean
doesn't
it's haunted.
necessarily mean that it's haunted. No, oops. Sorry.
Patches.
Yeah. So, let's see here. Next question. What are some spiritual gifts you, Tim, and Kristen have that you used during your investigation? And this question is, who is this guy? This is from Alfred. I'll let Kristen answer this one first.
Spiritual gifts that we use during, well, for myself, spiritual gifts that I use is my sensitivity to energies in a place and my ability to see entities, mists, different things that other people won't see. So once I enter a place, I'm immediately kind of like, all points bulletin alert. And then that allows me to really experience whatever is going on, or if nothing's going on. There's been times that I've walked in a place, and it felt like any other house. And then there's times I walk in a place and it feels thick and sticky and heavy and full. So I rely on my senses, my 6 senses. And the gift of sight is always with me, so I use it everywhere. I have to remind myself to kind of block and turn it off when I go out, like to a hospital or an airport, because then I just see everybody and their dead relatives, and it's too much. So that's what I bring with me every time, because it's just a part of my DNA. So.
Yeah, for me, I don't know, I want to call it supernatural gift, but I think one of the most important things that you can have if you want to do this and do it the right way is just have a true passion for it. And, you know, the rest will just come to you. So the most important gift that you can have is just being into it for the right reasons and being, you know, being curious and letting your curiosity and your passion for the paranormal.
You have good intuition too. Like your intuition is, you know, he'll come up with something. He's like, I don't know why, but I think we should do this. And he's right. Like, you know, we try it and we get really good results. So, and he's kind of like, I don't know why I thought of it. And it's like the instinct or intuition is good.
Follow your guts when you do this. Yeah, follow your guts and, you know, be willing to try different things. Don't just do everything that you see on TV.
Yeah.
The next question is by Paula Hogland. She says, Tim, are you and Kristen psychic? Also, does getting possessed by a demon tend to drain your soul and spirit, or do you pray for God's protection before each session? I don't think I'm psychic. I don't, you know, I just think that we all have abilities, and you know, whether or not you...
Yeah, I don't call myself a psychic because that word is just, it's used way too much and it means so many things to so many different people. That's why I like to say I'm sensitive, because I'm sensitive to whatever is around. So, and I always, you know, I have the ability to pray or ask for protection if I feel like I need it, but I don't go into a place that I want to investigate doing that, because then I won't experience anything. So if you're going in to experience something, the last thing you want to do really is like cocoon yourself in safety, because otherwise, you know, why are you there? So, yeah.
Let's see here.
Badges.
Ghost Girl 1963 asks, what makes you think you've ever going to get, or this is like typed weird, think you've ever going to get true and straight answers from the demonic entities? As you know, they are great imposters, even on EVPs, mimicking your voice or others on your team to distract you from things. Where are the other spirits, good ones, once you open the portals? Why wouldn't they come through as well? Curious is all. Well, I have a theory, and this is just my theory, but I believe that everything that we communicate to is a demon. I don't really believe in ghosts. I think that there would be no reason for any human spirit to want to hang out down here unless they're in purgatory or they committed a suicide or something like that, but I don't really think that there is any such thing. I don't think grandma's hanging around down here baking cookies for all the dead people. That's just my opinion. And I think oftentimes when people think that they are talking to ghosts or their deceased relatives, it's probably a demon.
Yeah.
And it's that tricking them. But I think the key is not, at the end of the day, we'll never know who we're talking to or what we're communicating to. The most important thing is that we are making contact with something. And I think the more and more we can make contact, the closer and closer we'll get to figuring out someday who we're speaking to. So I think the first and most important aspect of this whole thing is just getting communication.
Yeah. Agree.
Okay.
Ditto.
So the next question, Killer Clown, 1979. Hey Tim, I have a few questions. I've always wondered what you and Kristen pictures as are looking like. Also, what do you think abracadabra means? Also, there's a lot of questions here. Also, what do you think the lady in white is, demonic or ghost? I think it's demonic shapeshifter, which is the old man you saw come through your wall and reach out for you when you were younger, and who supposedly, yeah, I think that too. I think it's demonic, and for some reason it's attached itself to you, and for some reason it wants your soul. it wanted your soul when you did the Ouija session at the cemetery. Why do you think it wants your soul so badly? Well, I think oftentimes when people come in contact with something, you establish lines of communication. And I don't think that spirits, or not spirits, but demons attach themselves to people unless like they're possessed. But I do think that once you go down a certain road,
Get marked.
you get marked, and those lines of communication will always be open, and you can tap into them if you know how to do it. And I think that there are certain things that I do and stuff like that. I think that opens up these lines of communication, and that's why we're able to get such great EVPs and do these other type of Ouija sessions. Now, would I recommend that everyone do it? No. I mean, just on YouTube and the live streaming aspect, this has been going on for me since 2007, just doing live broadcasts. And I've kind of gotten more and more comfortable with it, but I would not recommend people just to go out there.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. And it can turn scary really fast, especially if you don't have, the history or the confidence to kind of stand up to whatever it is you've opened the door to. And I don't know what Tim pictures Zozo as, but for me, I've never seen his face. I've seen, all I ever see for Zozo is a big black shape of a man, or it could be a woman too, but just a very big black, very dark, void-filled shape. So I don't know what he looks like. I don't know what his face looks like. He could look like everyone or no one. So if I saw his face, I would definitely draw it, but I haven't seen it. I've seen what I believe is his energy and his shape, his color, but I haven't seen his details.
Ciaron, Caron, asks, what are your favorite communication method? What is your favorite location to investigate? I'm assuming the Sally house. Ha ha ha. My favorite communication technique is just doing straight EVP. I'm not a real big fan of ghost apps. In fact, I think most ghost apps are fake, and I would highly question anybody who says that they're making contact with a spirit through a ghost app. I just don't really believe
It's too many
in
variables.
the legitimacy of ghost apps. I've used a couple over the years and just on the shows, and I just don't think, you won't ever see any serious paranormal investigator roll out to a haunted location and ask for a spirit to communicate through a phone. I would laugh at that person, in all seriousness. My favorite location to investigate actually is just any location that has activity. I've been to some, and even some locations that don't have activity, I still have fun there. But Sally House is definitely one of them. I love Whispers Estate, Bobby Mackey's. The list can go on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite communication method is just myself. It sounds silly, but
Yeah.
if I can see it, I can talk to it, and so that's what I go to. So I am technically challenged when it comes to all of the gadgetry, which Tim knows very well, because I've never needed it, but I understand why it's needed, because not everybody can just do what I do. So favorite location for me, I can't even really say I've had one so far. I've kind of liked everything equally, really. I mean, I've been to the Sally house the most, repeatedly, and so I have built kind of a comfortability there that's probably dangerous to have. But I don't know. I just any new place is like a new adventure, and so that's like my new favorite place. So I don't think I really have a favorite one yet.
JD18, I think JD18 says, if you get possessed, can someone film the exorcism? If that's such a thing. If that's still a thing. Yeah, I mean, hey, whatever. I mean,
I told him tonight that if I get hit by a car to like EVP right away, because I would have a few things to say.
all right. Yeah. We'll go into the next page here. Some of these questions are ones that we've already answered, so the ones that we've already answered, I'm sorry, we're just passing them.
Yeah.
Hey Tim, when did you decide you wanted to pursue the paranormal? And how do you think the spirit world works? Well, I kind of answered the second part of that question. I basically decided I wanted to investigate the paranormal the night before I left to college. But before that, I was always the creepy kid in the library. Yeah, reading Han Holzer's books on ghosts and stuff. But
That's awesome.
yeah, I was that kid in the library, in the corner. But yeah, my last night at my parents' house, I had a very unusual experience. And didn't sleep the whole night after I experienced that, and basically stayed awake staring at the wall for 6 hours waiting for the sun to come up.
Yeah. Done that before.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, people are posting water ITC picture. Okay. Interesting. Do you ever get scared during these seances or other summonings? Yes. Yeah, I think it's human.
Yeah.
I think anybody who tells you that they don't get scared when they experience the unknown,
It's
is
a
full of
survival
shit.
thing, like the hair stands up on the back of your neck, and yeah, I mean, you just viscerally should be afraid. So yeah, if they say they're never scared, they're lying.
Yeah. All right, so let's see here. Aaron in Texas asks, any personal encounters with black-eyed kids, otherwise referred to as BEKs? Rick from Monster Cast Boys freaked the crap out of me. I've never had an experience with a BEK. I've had an experience with a childlike entity that was crawling up the stairs at one house, like backwards.
Ew.
Yeah. So I had an experience like that, but I don't think that it's not similar to
That
the
was
BEK.
supernatural, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen or experienced a BEK either.
Thank you, Aaron, for that question.
Read about them, but never.
And Aaron has another question. Scariest paranormal thing to happen to both of you? And go.
One of my scariest things was when I was a child, and like Tim's family, mine didn't believe in what I saw, or if I got any answer from them, it was, what I was seeing was coming from the devil. So, don't talk about it. But I was in grade school and came home, and I passed by our basement doorway, which was open, and I saw a huge man on the stairs, and of course it scared the heck out of me because to me there was an intruder in the house, and I told my mom about it and my brother, and my dad, and they were like, there's nobody in the house. And I mean, I was like so upset and so terrified that I wouldn't calm down until they searched the entire house. And of course, there was nobody there, which then confused the heck out of me for the rest of the night. And I stayed awake all night long that night because, yeah, I know what I saw, and yet there was nothing there for anyone else to see. So that was very scary moment for me.
Yeah, for me, one of the most creepiest experiences that I've had during an investigation occurred at a house that I was investigating, and another investigator and I had both seen this dark, tall hat man that morphed into a blue light. And when I called home, one of my family members had told me on the phone that they had experienced the same thing. Now, the trippy thing about this is that we weren't airing the broadcast and we didn't talk about our experience on camera. So that person, the family member, had no way of knowing what we had experienced. And that really creeped me out, knowing that things can travel.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's see here. Satan Princess asks, can you guys play with the Ouija board before you guys go? We might do one session. Yeah. I'll probably have to get a paper towel because we got some water on it. But
we have a little water everywhere.
yeah, we got water everywhere. All right, let's see here. Okay. Vindictive Queen. I would like to know if nightmares and bed shaking violently is paranormal. I have been experiencing this since I came back from Arizona. It doesn't happen a lot, and as soon as I get off my bed, it stops. It could be night terrors. I just don't know. Yeah, I mean, it could be a bunch of things. It could be night terrors. It could just be...
Well, your bed shaking violently isn't a normal thing.
Yeah, but you could be, you know...
I mean, if you're awake and it's shaking like that, and you're not, you know, asleep and dreaming that it's... then that's something that I would question.
Yeah, I mean, you could also do this. You could, depending on how curious you are, you could just get a trap camera. Mm-hmm. A trap camera is just like a hunting game camera, and they're cheap. They're like $100. You can just place the thing in your room at night when you go to sleep, and it'll start recording if it detects movement, and then you can go from there.
Yeah.
Or you could call us, come out and you know, see. But yeah, I mean, dreams in the spirit world are very well connected. Yeah. And sometimes when you have dreams that you're, or nightmares that you are experiencing in your sleep, that can translate over to the spirit world. Mm-hmm. It seems like the two are very connected. Sometimes when we are experiencing things or we get stuff here, we have crazy dreams, and then the following day when you do the second part of the investigation, whatever you experienced in your dream will start coming through or manifesting through the equipment.
Right.
There was one time at the Sally house where Patrick, John, and I were at the house, and I had a dream that it kind of like was the whole like investigation we did. And so I wrote the whole thing out, and I sent it over to Patrick and John before we went out there. And then Patrick said, hey, you know, because it was Patrick's first time going out to the house. And he said to me, hey, you know, if nothing's happening, you know, the last day we're there, we should just film this. and make it like a short film or whatever,
Right,
you know,
right.
because it was a pretty like compelling like idea. And I was like, okay, sure, you know. So as we get out there, things that we had written, that I had written down and sent out to people, started actually occurring. I don't think I'm psychic, but I do think that whatever was there at the house was communicating
Yeah.
to me and telling me.
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, because those things, I mean, you can go into a house and you can have your holy water, you can have whatever. It doesn't matter, you're in their domain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, pretty powerful stuff.
Excuse me.
Okay, we're going to take like 3 more questions here. Do you play Pokemon Go? This is by, you know, actually I wanted to play Pokemon Go at the cemetery this weekend, but we didn't get to go.
I didn't go. That's right.
I was going to see, it would be kind of
See
funny
what
if we
you
could
can
do
catch.
it. We can catch some Pokies at the cemetery. Kai Twist says, what are the signs of a ghost following you? Well, there are a bunch of signs. It could be things as like you're having nightmares, you're getting scratched at night, you're seeing things.
Like
Objects
being
are
oppressed.
objects are displaced. Like, hey, I put my keys, or I took my shoes off, or it's always something that you need. It seems like.
Yeah.
That seem to move. I mean, I've been in situations where I've been showering or taking a shower, and I'm just in the shower, and I've had conversations with somebody
Who
on
you
the
thought
other
was-
side, who I thought was an actual person, and it ended up being that the person was never home.
Yeah.
Who I was talking to. It can be like, you know,
I ran through all my
smells.
house thinking that my
Yeah.
son and his friend had been dropped off
Yeah.
because I saw the child go through the kitchen, and I thought they were hiding from me in the house, and they hadn't been dropped off yet. But yeah, it's kind of like being oppressed, or you know, and all the things that go with that, or it's just like it can't just be in your mind like, hey, I think or I feel funny all the time, because that's mostly generated from you. If things are happening to you or in your environment, like he was talking about things being moved or scratches on, you know, knocks in the room, or your electronics are going crazy, or there has to be like a pattern that you can establish to know if maybe you've got something attached or following you. Because it's very different from people who, you know, maybe get depressed or just think, well, maybe I'm depressed because I have a ghost following me or something. It has to come from outside of you, not inside, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, the next question is from Lost and Damned. He says, are you ever planning on doing another 48-hour sesh at a different location? And yes, we are looking at a different location as we speak, and we will be probably announcing it soon. If you feel uneasiness in an area, like, and this is from Pagans Unite, Isabella. If you feel uneasiness in an area, like as if someone is watching you, does that mean there is a spirit, ghost, or entity? I mean, it could just because you feel something watching you, it could be, and this sounds freaky, it could be something as simple as an animal staring at you. There was one time where I was investigating a cemetery up north, and the whole time I was there, it was tripping me out because I felt eyes on me. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what the fuck? And then finally, about a half hour into the investigation, I look up with my night vision camera, and there's a huge ass mountain lion staring at me. Yeah. So just because you feel something staring
Can
at
also
you,
be high EMF. A lot of times people
Yeah.
are sensitive to different electronics.
yeah.
You know, they say that makes you feel a little watched or whatever. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't get eaten.
Yeah, right. Quick question. This is from Irish Ghost 88. Hello, Tim and Kristen.
Hello.
Does the conjure oil help you communicate, or is it the same?
Or is it the same? What?
We wouldn't use it if it was the same. Like,
Yeah. No.
basically for me, it helps me just kind of get in sync or in tune with what's around me. It definitely seems to like lower the veil
Yeah.
a little bit.
Thins the veil.
Thins the veil.
Yeah. Yeah. The conjure oil itself makes a difference for me too, as far as much as I can see, I see more, and it also like doing whatever it is we're doing. I don't know. It just kind of makes your instincts sharper as to whoever you're talking to or whatever. The King Solomon oil that I tried last night, I just won't probably put it on me again, or at least what I did wrong is I put it on top of the conjuring oil, and you're supposed to put it not on top of another oil. You're supposed to do like one here and one here, and that was way strong. And you probably saw towards the end of the night that I was having trouble. I was like hallucinating. So, but the conjuring oil definitely, I think it works. But you have to make sure that you get legit oil.
Yeah, you make sure that they're actually putting stuff that you can put on your skin.
Yeah, some
of them
it's
will,
poisonous.
yeah, some of it is poisonous, and some of it contains like stuff that will actually turn your skin different colors. So you want to make sure you go to a reputable shop, and you want to make sure you're getting the right stuff. Some is actually used for hexing.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be hexing yourself. So, yeah.
Why are we laughing?
I don't know. It's just like kind of funny.
Slap happy.
Yeah, right. What is the most? This is from Lilith Acacia or Acacia. Acacia. I don't know. Acacia. What was the most interesting entity you have communicated with, and where did you find it?
Interesting entity.
To me, the most interesting entity that I've ever communicated with was back in April 2012 at the Sally House, and it's actually on our YouTube thing, and it's one of the videos that like nobody has seen. It's kind of funny because I think it's when we first started our YouTube channel. I think it was like our first live stream, but it was the last night of our live stream, and one of the most, I thought, coolest things that happened for communication for me was we were in Sally's room, and Patrick and I were on the Ouija board. Scott was filming, and I had this idea for the viewers to send in questions, and Scotty would write them down, put the piece of paper underneath the Ouija board, and then we would ask the spirit to, very similar to what we did the other night, for the spirit to tell us through the planchette what the numbers were. And we actually got, I think, 5 out of 7 numbers right, or five combinations
Wow.
out of 7 tries.
That's crazy.
And the chances of that, I mean, that's like hitting
Yeah.
the lottery. So that was really cool, and that happened on the live feed. And yeah, I mean, it's like when you get stuff like that. Another thing that happened was when we were investigating a barn, the Ouija board had told us, gave us a warning to get out of where we were, and we didn't listen, of course, and we kept doing the board, and during the live feed, a card flipped over and almost ran it, like came within feet of where we were doing the Ouija board.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you can hear the car screeching on the.
Oh my god.
Yeah, on the thing. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool.
My most interesting one was in an airport, and I actually thought this person was a real person. It was a young man who was blind and obviously handicapped in communication ways. And he stood up and walked toward me and addressed me by name and told me several things and then walked away. And it was right before I was meeting Tim up in Washington. And I thought he was a real person. I mean, he was just really, really solid. And the more that I looked for him then after that encounter, because I was kind of shocked by the fact that this blind person who obviously couldn't speak very well just got up, walked directly to me, addressed me as Mrs. Manning, and then gave me a message and walked away. It took a minute for that to soak in, and then I looked for him everywhere and could not find him. And he was within our group that was going on the flight, so I finally deduced that he wasn't human, or he wasn't alive. So that was a very trippy moment for me.
The next question comes from Doot Balarg. This person asks, if I watch a Ouija board session, is there a risk of anything finding or following me? Honestly, yes.
It could happen.
It could happen. I guess anything in the paranormal can happen.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure, hey, it's not going to happen, because I'd be lying.
Yeah,
But,
there's no way to say it can't. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you could be watching Seinfeld. Just saying. And you could probably have something come through the TV.
Yeah.
We don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know how spirits travel or how.
It depends on how sensitive you are to. If you have any abilities, sometimes they can find you easier if you're watching that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's impossible to say no to that, because anything is possible, really. At least in my view.
Yeah. All right, last question comes from Victoria Hillman. She asks, have you ever experienced sleep paralysis? And I see one more other question. Yes, this is orange juice. Yeah. Odwalla orange juice, my favorite orange juice. I have never, I haven't seen the Hat Man. I haven't seen, when I sleep at night, I'm usually dead asleep. And the only thing that can wake me up is if something attacks me. And
Patches jumps on top of you.
Yeah. There was one time at the Wells house where I was in bed and I was actually on my phone tweeting to you guys.
I watched that happen.
Yeah. I was actually tweeting about how I was feeling like it felt like a dog panting on my face. And finally, I'd asked, as this was happening, for the people in the chat and on Twitter, I'd also asked the people that were there, just 4 feet away from me, if they could see anything, and they told me no, and I kept feeling it, and so I got so just annoyed. I actually put my headphones on, and I kept tweeting out hey, is anything going on? And I was just tweeting to people, and then about 10 minutes later, I actually got kicked in the stomach.
It was awful. I was watching that whole.
Yeah, it took me I think
it took the wind out of you.
Yeah, it took the wind out of me, but I made a huge sound and I was screaming. And the other people, we would all sleep in the living room because there's 4 guys, and we would all pretty much sleep in the living room on camera because we were frightened to go to sleep in any other parts of the house. And it took me 10 minutes to crawl over and actually shake one of the guys. And it was weird. It was it reminded me of Amityville movie where I think it was John DeFeo, or Ronnie DeFeo, kills his family, and he shoots them all in the head. But he goes from each room to room, shoots them all in the head. But what's strange is none of the family members wake up, like, during each shot.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. It was just weird. It's like time had stopped, and I was moving around, and no one else could hear me.
Yeah. That was awful. I've experienced sleep paralysis, and it's really unnerving when you are in it, because you're, at least for me, I realize I'm in it, and I'm using every bit of energy I can just to like lift my hand or something, and cannot do it. And it's happened to me about 3 times, and it's probably one of the things I hate the most, is that, because you're paralyzed and you don't, whatever it is has a hold of you and won't allow you to move, and that's a very, very helpless feeling. So.
Yeah, I'll do one more question here. Let's see, let me just refresh. We're going to pick one more question, you guys. I will never be watching Seinfeld again. Sorry to ruin it for you. ... The next question is King of Salt. So, the Amityville house is up for sale. Will you buy it or perform a session there? I would love to buy the Amityville house. I thought it'd be kind of cool, maybe if we could do
We actually talked about it.
Yeah, we actually, I'm serious. I was actually talking to Kristen about buying it, and I was pretty serious at one point. I thought it would be pretty cool to see if we could do a crowdfunding campaign to buy the house. And if we did that, I think it would be amazing to go in there. And even though the people that were living in there, or before they put the house up for sale, even if they didn't experience paranormal activity, I still believe that hauntings sometimes can go dormant. And sometimes all it takes is for someone to walk in there to do something to reactivate it. And I don't know. I think it would be interesting. I don't have much faith in Ed and Lorraine Warren's case files. But that's a different thing. But
just
it would
the
be
facts of what happened
just,
there,
yeah.
I mean, leaves its mark. And what he claimed drove him to do what he did, Yeah, I think the same thing. It's like things can go dormant for a long time, especially if you get different family groups that move in that are just like so shut down and so ignore everything that time passes and it's just not active. But it doesn't take too much to really kind of crack that lid open, and away you go.
Before buying it, yeah, we can all have a sleepover. At the Amityville house. But I don't know, it would be kind of funny to do a crowdfunding campaign.
It would be awesome. Like, everybody gets 1% of the house.
Yeah. We'll do like shares.
Timeshare.
Yeah, we'll do timeshares on the...
Where are we going for vacation this year, honey? Amityville.
So we have like 300,000 subscribers. If everybody put in like $3, we would... I'm going to make a YouTube video requesting for $3 from every subscriber so we could buy the Sally house. Or not the Sally house.
Just skip Starbucks for one day.
We could all eventually go out to the Amityville house. We should make it happen, you guys. What do you think?
Oh my God.
Is anybody experienced in crowdfunding? GoFundMe, yeah. we'd probably need to ask everybody to contribute $4 then.
Now you're pushing it.
Yeah, right. So, yeah. All right, you guys. Well, yeah. Everyone have a good night. I want to appreciate. I appreciate all the support you guys give, and it was fun answering
thanks.
some of these questions tonight. I want to thank Kristen for coming out here and partaking in some of these experiments.
Wacky escapades.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to thank Patches for making a special appearance, and all of you guys who submitted questions. We're gonna beat.
Yeah.
Yeah, beat.
Real life starts again tomorrow.
Yeah, real life starts again tomorrow. Yeah, it
Or
would be
today, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone have a good night. Please give us a like, subscribe.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you guys have any your own paranormal experiences that you want to share, post them up on the forums.livesci-fi.tv. It's kind of a shame. YouTube Live used to archive the comments, and they don't do that anymore. So once these live shows are over, all the comments reset.
They're just gone.
So anything you guys type is lost
Yeah, it's terrible.
in ether.
Gone.
So that's why we're really pushing people to go to the forums.livesci-fi.tv. All right, you guys. Everyone have a good night.
Yeah.
And we will see you guys later.
Sleep well.
Peace out.
Good night.